It's Lauren Hassan, software engineer and your career expert. This weekend, I was honored to be the keynote speaker and then also a judge at a hackathon for kids. That's elementary school through middle school through high school. And I really had a rewarding experience and came away with three really impactful, powerful takeaways, and I wanted to share those with you today. And the first one is that it's all about the experience of learning and not the destination, not the end result. Now, and maybe 10 or 20 kids walked away with prizes, 3D printers and high-end drones, which wasn't too shabby, but the vast majority of the kids who attended walked away with nothing, in hand at least. But they were there for the learning experience. They showed up in the morning with nothing. Most of them had never attended a hackathon before, and they were there for the experience, not the prizes at the end. And what they learned is that they were able to come in with zero skills or limited skills, and they were able to learn something new and iterate on that and improve throughout the day. And what they ultimately left with, which for a lucky few were some prizes, but most of them left with confidence. And they left with positive references that I can go from beginner to having more skills all within a matter of a day. And that they had this notion that they are able to change and that they are able to learn and grow as an individual. And that is far more valuable than a 3D printer. Although if anyone wants to give me one, I'll gladly take one. The second thing that really impacted me was the emphasis the kids put on the team and the greater good of the team over the individual. I heard we and us and our over and over, and maybe one I or me throughout the day. And the kids really did put each other first as teammates. And they also really encouraged each other as somewhat competing teams. They wanted to see everyone do well and really get the most from the experience. What really drove it home for me was when I asked the question of the kids who had met at the hackathon and formed a team, how did you guys come up with the idea that you wanted to build this, and how did you know who was going to build what? And the answer wasn't what I was expecting. The answer was, well, we first sat down and went around the room and said who's good at what, and also who wants to work on what, and where their passion is. And then they said, then we built the product around the strengths of our team so that everyone was working on something that was valuable to them and that was meaningful to them and that used their skills. And then the result was something really impressive. And the teams that did that really blew me away with what they were able to produce in just a matter of 12 hours. The last thing that really struck me was the importance of showing up. Now, this hackathon started at 8 a.m. That meant those kids had to get up at 6 or 7 to be there. And they hacked for 12 hours. They could have easily stayed home, slept in, and watched cartoons on a Saturday, or done some other leisure activity. Now, whether it was their choice or it was their parents is debatable. But regardless, they showed up and they tried something new. And they did. They didn't just show up and sit around, but they showed up and they did something. And that first action of showing up is so critical because they're light years ahead of all their peers who stayed home and slept in on a Saturday morning or did something else because they now have confidence that they can do something. They have a reference that, hey, if I try something new and keep working at it, I can improve and take my skills to the next level, which is going to take them even further the next time that they want to try something new because they know they can do it. And even for myself, it was the power of showing up. It would have been really easy for me to say no. That would have been an easy thing to do. But this wasn't paid. This was all because I showed up because I wanted to give back and contribute and encourage these kids to learn new skills because it's something that's important to me is to show the way. But I had to show up first. I had to say yes and then show up. And for me, I ended up making fantastic connections and being reminded of some of these lessons that I learned through doing hackathons myself. So, as we start our week this week as professionals, I remind you that don't get so focused on the end result that you miss the lessons learned along the way. Focus on your teammates. We're all in this together. We're interdependent. We're not independent. And the next time someone asks you to do something or gives you an opportunity or asks for your help, I challenge you to say yes and then show up.